Hello, hello, friends. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so I'm going to hang for just a second, let you guys jump on. Let me put some links up for you. See if that works. Whoops. What's happening here? There we go. All right. Hello, hello. Let me know that you're with me. Let me just get these links up for you guys so you can see them. Maybe there it is. It is a windy day here in Fargo today. There we go. Hello, hello, ladies. Now I'm seeing ya. Hello, hello. All right, so today, just a couple reminders. We are still taking people in for Spirit School. I had some people join this morning. It's always fun for me to see that. So if you have questions on that, or you're just wondering if Spirit School is a fit for you, make sure you take a peek at the page and everything that comes with it, and then reach out if you have questions, of course. I also put out this week one of my Christmas offers. We always have to do holiday stuff, but I like to have a little time to do them, and you'll get them by New Year's Eve in your email box. But I do a word of the year, an animal, power animal of the year. Personal reading. It's different for everyone. Everyone gets their own reading, and then Spirit picks a word and Spirit picks an animal. And we added the animals last year. And I thought it was super, I got an itch. I thought it was super, super fun. And people really, really loved how we had some really unique animals that came to Angela when she was designing it. So to me, they're really fun. It's a really fun gift for yourself. And I talk about maybe what's coming up in your world. And I'm also about maybe some ideas or some things from Spirit on how you can manage yourself, or maybe some things that you can do to help move you into some of the new things that are coming for you. So they're really good. They're really fun. I love doing them. I do them every year. I always sell out. I always lose my voice when I do them because I get a bunch of them. So I like to start them a little early, but they all are delivered by New Year's Eve. Okay. All right. So let's see. A whole bunch of you are coming on that I haven't seen for a while. All right. I see Miss Donna. You guys got wind too. Tina and Donna, Carla, Vicky. Hey, Vicky. Haven't seen you for a while. Miss Tony. Oh, yep. Tony, I saw yours come through. Yeah, the word of the year is super fun. There's a few of us that do them, and just go with who you're guided to, because I think they're fun from everyone. A lot of people do them from me, and then from couple other practitioners that offer them, and they put them together, which I also think is super fun. So we have a little cross promotion, I think. There's a setup different than mine, but you get the gist. Also, I still have a couple spots for Sedona. So I'm taking a very small group in I think it's the last week of February, if I remember my dates correctly. And so if you are interested in that, please let me know. I will send you the details. I just put some basic details together. A lot of the trip is a little bit of a surprise because I think it's fun to do it that way. But we definitely are out on the land. We definitely are out seeing some of the vortex sites. We are definitely out within the magic of Sedona. That time of year can be a little cooler, but also beautiful. It was beautiful last year. You might still need a coat and a hat, depending where you're from, but Sedona is one of my absolute favorite places to take people. It is absolutely magic. Every trip I've taken there, has been magical. So definitely message me. You can either message me on Facebook or you can message me on email. Donna, I thought I sent it to you. Maybe I thought I did and I didn't. I swear I did. I will send it to you though. Message me though. Oh, for funny. So I will bring these out on one of these. Vicky said she just did a Naughty Spirit card pull for a couple of her marketing reps. It cracks me up that you do that. So I have my Naughty Spirit deck, and it's the best deck. It has lots of swear words. It's super fun. And it makes people laugh. So I needed a way to have affirmations and to remind myself to get in a better space with myself. And so I created the Naughty Spirit deck for those days that I'm in a bad mood or just need to have a little bit stronger reminder. And they're awesome. I will do some Naughty Spirit pulls. Maybe we'll do that next week. Okay, we'll do that next week. Also tomorrow night, you know what? I should give you this link too. Sorry to keep giving you guys. Actually, I'm not sorry, but I have a lot of awesome stuff going on because we have a full moon tomorrow night. And so we have our full moon clearing group. Let me get you the link. Now, this right at the moment right now is a subscription. So just know that. And you can cancel anytime. I don't hold people hostage. If you don't want to be there, I don't want you there. But the full moon clearings, they're a great place to start, you guys. So I was told, I used to do them all the time. And a few years ago, I was told to start doing them again, like super strong message. And I've been doing them ever since. And the group is beautiful because we've put together some packets every month that explain the moon, the theme of the moon, affirmations, and different things. We're going to continue that into this next year. And people are really getting a lot from it because it's a meditation, but it's guided. And there's an action part of it that you're learning different tools on how to clear up your energy. And I think that is so important for people. So I have a lot of clients. That's the only thing they do with me once a month. And they show up every month. It's always recorded. So if you can't make it live, you just watch the recording. You'll still get the same experience. But they are so beautiful for people because what happens is over time, you'll start to be like, oh yeah, I learned that in the moon group. And so then you can clear your energy. So it is kind of a class. It is a meditation. It is a clearing. It's just all bundled together. And we do it once a month, either on the full moon or right before, right after the full moon. So we're always in that full moon energy. Love it. I love that group. I love it so much. Maybe you're not ready for the spirit school commitment. Full moon group is where I would tell you to start. Okay. That is a beautiful place for whether you've been doing energy work for years or you're just starting and you're brand new and you don't understand any of it. The full moon group is a great place for that because we always leave a little time at the end for questions when people get to share, which I love the shares because people have just unique experiences. Some people don't get anything. They're just there to listen and they don't know if anything's happening, but I'm watching everything. Everyone always gets an experience. But what I notice is over time, the people that don't necessarily see or feel or hear right away over the next few months start to. So sometimes it helps with that they're not blocks to your intuition, but they feel like blocks. Sometimes it helps to move some of that energy. If you're in a stressful time in life, super helpful. If you are ill or you have some illnesses or you have some things going on with your physical body, super helpful. If you're really, I was just talking to a client and we were talking about, she's really sensitive to all the things going on with the planets and the solar flares and the eclipse and all that kind of stuff. That group is super helpful for her because she's learned how to manage her energy better. So full moon group is fantastic. Okay. All right, ladies. So today I wanted to talk a little bit. I woke up early, middle of the night early, because that's always fun. And my ears were itching and I started to laugh and I was like, oh, I guess that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. And I think this is a fun subject because people don't pay attention. And several years ago, I was hanging out with a gal and it was on New Year's Eve. and we were talking about my friend Wes Hamilton, who's an amazing numerologist, super wizard, awesome guy. And he was itching his hand one day. And I was like, Wes, what is this? And he goes, oh, that just means money's coming. And he did energy work and teaching and numerology, meditation and stuff, but he also was a real estate agent for a while. And so he goes, I always know when I'm going to sell a house because my left hand itches. And I was like, I want that. And me and this guy were talking on New Year's Eve, and we're like, all right, let's like set up some intentions for that. So when my right ear itches, that means money's coming. So whether it's a new client, or maybe it's a spirit school sign up, or a session or space clearing or something, money's coming. So my right ear itches. If new ideas are coming, new inspiration is coming, new like a new vision of something, or a shift or a change in something, my left ear itches. And I thought that was so fun to set up for myself, because I'm a feeler. So I like to have the physical feeling of when my guides and angels are around. And so my ears itch. When I call in Archangel Michael in the mornings, I always feel his hand on my right shoulder, always. My guardian angel is always on my left shoulder. I can always feel my little protector dude. No, he's not little, big protector dude. I can always feel that energy coming around me. And I think it's fun to start to pay attention to how your team communicates with you. And I think sometimes it's so subtle, we don't pay attention. And so I want to open up that door a little bit for how spirit can come through kind of big and subtly. Because a lot of my stuff is really subtle. It's just subtle. And so if I'm anxious, like that is actually a sign from my guides and my team. And when I'm anxious about something, number one, it's telling me that my mindset's not quite right. It's typically telling me that I'm hanging on to some fear, or I'm telling a story to myself that's not true. I need to go journal, is what it usually is telling me. I need to go move some energy. I need to express the energy. For me, because it's like I'm full, and I'm just full, and I'm emotional. And so I get full every day. And so journaling and burning has become a piece for me, because it absolutely helps me. That's why I'm always talking about it. Sometimes my spirit I will be, this happened on the Camino when I was at the cathedral. Like I'm antsy and I can't sit still, and I have to get somewhere, and I don't know where I need to get, but I know I need to get somewhere. And so I get this antsy kind of feel, and like I'll sit there, and then I'll sit here, and then I'll sit here, and I'll meet someone, and oh, that was cool. And then I'll sit over here, and then this big cool thing happens. So sometimes if I'm getting a hit to move, I move. I'll be at home and I'll be like, oh, I got to go get adjusted today. And my chiropractor, you can do walk-ins. And so, and I always know now, because there's a certain like, hey, go get adjusted. Oh, okay. So I go get adjusted, and every time there's somebody that I'm supposed to talk to, there's someone I haven't seen for a while, there's a friend that I haven't seen for a while. Like we sit down and basically have a coffee date in the chiropractor. He always laughs, because he's like, I don't know, people just come here to meet up with you, I think. And I'm like, yep, they kind of do. So it's really kind of fun that I follow those hits. Sometimes it'll be like, hey, go, maybe we're out of milk or something. Hey, run to the store and get the milk. Run into a friend that I haven't seen in years. So I think there's a lot of those little hits that happen that we don't necessarily pay attention to, that over time I have learned to pay attention to. Sometimes if I'm waking up a lot at night, it's not necessarily a warning or some emergency thing. It's that, oh, you're not taking enough quiet time. So we're going to wake you up at night to give you some quiet time. Because I'm someone that I'm extroverted, but in reality, I'm introverted. I'm very introverted. I like my own space. I like my alone time. I like my quiet time. And when I travel, I like my own room. Like I like my own space. And if I'm not getting that, and I'm not putting myself in a space to get it, then I will wake up in the middle of the night, because then it's quiet. And I'm like, okay, well, I'd rather not have it that way. So it helps me put my time that I need into more of a priority place. Okay. So sometimes that happens. Pamela said behind her left knee just started to itch. I wonder what it means. Yep. And that's what I would do. I'd be like, all right, spirit, like I do like to know when inspiration's coming. Like, I've been working, this time of year is always super creative for me because the new year's coming. And I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do in the new year for my people? What are we going to do in spirit school? What are we going to do for classes? What am I going to do for retreat and things like that? And so I love to be reminded like, hey, something's coming, pay attention. Because then if a thought drops in, it's like, oh yeah. And then I know to write it down. Also, if I hear something 3 times, that is a sign that I should listen to. I have a joke with my friend Jody Bach. Before we met, we had so many people. Oh, have you met Jody Bach? You need to meet Jody Bach. Hey, you need to meet Jody Bach. And she was hearing the same thing on her side. You got to meet Jody Harbala. And we each heard it, I don't know how many times. And then we finally met. And it was so funny because we're like, well, okay, there was like no reason for us not to meet because so many people were listening to that message to get us together because we know so many of the same people. So if I hear about a class 3 times, or if I hear about a person 3 times, if I hear about me and Shanda Trofe, she does a lot of our publishing. Her and I kept hearing each other's names over and over. And finally, I think it was her that reached out and she's like, all right, like we need to talk for whatever reason. And we started talking and then she helped me put one of my books together. And we were friends like 3 years before we actually met in person, which is always fun. So that kind of stuff I pay attention to. If I hear about a trip or I hear about a certain place, my body will react in like there's a certain vibration that kind of comes through where it's like, hey, you should go there. Last summer I went to the Ringing Rocks and it was a trip. Like it was 3 hours away from where I was and it was this crazy ass drive and it was so worth it. I was like, oh my God, that was totally worth it. And so sometimes it's an experience for me to spend the day doing something super creative and super fun. My body often will just start to like this happened. You all kind of saw it last week where my body's like, hey, we don't feel good. Hey, you're really tired. Hey, you're really like forcing everything. Like, hey, can you pay attention to me? And it'll give me small little signs and then it will get bigger. And it'll get bigger. And so I often, when I am not feeling great, I usually will take some time to rest. Now, I was gone for almost a month. So I wasn't really into resting. I needed to get some shit done and get some work done. And my body's like, hey, we're not done like resting. Like, hey, you need some extra time. And so our bodies very much are a way that spirit talks to us if we listen. Lots of people need it to scream at them. But if you can get into the subtleties of it, it's much more helpful. So give me a little insight. How do you know spirit's talking to you? How do you know that your team is trying to get your attention? Like memes on Facebook, angel numbers, big one. I get a ton of license plates, which I think is super fun. I get messages from clients. They'll say something a few different times or like 3 different clients will say something really similar. I think that's really a fun way. I'll see TV shows. I actually have a friend and she always got her messages. What is the channel? On the Hallmark Channel. She'd wake up at 2 in the morning and her spirit would be like, turn on Hallmark. And she'd turn on Hallmark, she'd get the message and just go back to sleep. I thought that was super funny. I always thought that was great. Repeats. Yep. Ear ringing and angel numbers. Ear ringing is a big one for people. Oftentimes it means you need to raise your vibe a little bit. Look at my phone and someone's name will come up and I know I have to contact them. That one's really cool, Catherine. It's like a song stuck in my head. I'm like, okay, I hear you. Yep, I have another client. I think she's actually on today. She gets songs all the time. number signs, feathers. Yes, we saw feathers all along the Camino, and there was no feathers to, like, I don't know where the feathers came from. And when Eli and I walk at the farm, we were just thinking about his mom because it was the anniversary of her death, and I saw feathers all day. Finding coins for sure, angel numbers, unknowing, yep, synchronicity. Angel numbers, looking at the clock and the eagle. Yep, pennies from heaven. We actually had the coolest experience in Sedona last year on my retreat out there. So, oh my God, it was so cool. I don't know if any of the girls are on here, but we went, it was so fun. So we were out at this awesome place that had this great, it was just great. One of the girls was sitting up in the tree because she had a thing with trees, and I was talking to another woman, and there was another woman kind of walking in the back and stuff. And me and Jolene were talking. Oh, Jolene's on here. We were talking, and I think we were talking about your mom, if I'm correct. And she was talking about how her mom leaves dimes for her all over the place. And all of a sudden, I am not shitting you, a dime fell out of the sky. Like, there was no other people around. Like, there's no way someone could have thrown it at us. There was no way that dime came anywhere except it came from heaven. And I just looked at her and I was like, did you fucking see that? She goes, did you see that? And we were laughing because Kim was behind us, and she came running up and she goes, I saw that. I saw that. And so we literally had this dime fall from heaven. Gets better. So then a day or two later, we were meeting with this person, and we were telling him about this awesome story, and he digs in his pocket and he brings this dime out, and he goes, my mom gives me dimes too. And so they exchanged their dimes. It was amazing. It was so cool. And I love when shit like that happens. So I watch for stuff like that. I literally watch for that stuff all the time, because to me, that is the most fun. I remember talking to a friend, and he had been doing mediumship for a long time. And I remember something cool happened, and I was like, oh my God, it was so cool. La, 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 la. And I was going on. And he's like, yeah, that happens. And I was like, nope, I never, ever want to lose my excitement for the signs that I get. I love signs just as much now as I did when I first started in all of this. And it to me, that's the most fun part of daily work with spirit and with my team, because so much cool shit can happen if you're open to it. Even if I'm sitting at home in my little she shed and I'm not around people, like, I'll see stuff online, or a website will come up and I'll be like, oh, I need that, or whatever. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that can happen like that. Okay, let's see what else. Tingles on my left side. I love that. Angel numbers. Alexa goes on. I actually have, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. I moved it. So I actually have an easy button. And there are days when the energy is in a certain way, and I can feel when the energy is like that. And this will go off by itself. That was easy. Because this reminds me that life can be easy. So everyone needs an easy button. Birds, music, feel the energy in your body, feathers and numbers. Yep. Jolene in our cool dime thing. Little white feathers. Oh, that's a good idea. Carrie said we started decorating a wreath in our home with angel feather finds. I love that. Yeah, it was amazing. Sedona, you guys, is amazing. I'm telling you, it's magic there. Everything, you can just sit there and not do anything, and magic stuff happens. It's very cool. Feathers, also written messages that I know are for me. Yep. Grandma gives quarters. I know, I always ask for a raise. I'm like, the pennies and dimes are great, but how about some 20s? Bird songs, numbers, butterflies, dragonflies, itching. Yep, itching is a lot for people. They just, certain parts itch, or they get itchy. There are, like, I had another story in Sedona. This is a fun story too. It was so funny. So I was there. I think I was there by myself. That time. And I went to my room and I checked in, and my spirit was like, hey, go get some chocolate. and I didn't want to get chocolate. I had just got back to my room. I had been on a little bit of a hike, and I met this group of people, and they were trying to get like a family picture, and there were so many of them. And I was like, hey, let me take that picture for you. I'm always taking pictures for people. And I said, what are you guys here for? And they were just there for sightseeing. And I said, well, you know what? Sedona is really magic. So if you've lost anyone or anyone's passed away, you should pay attention, because a lot of times they'll show themselves in some way in Sedona. And they all just kind of stared at me. So I was like, oh, whoops, kind of freaked them out. Took the picture, didn't think much of it, told them have a good day, watch for signs, and went on to my room. And I was in my room, and Spirit said, go get some chocolate. And I was like, nah, I don't really want any chocolate. And Spirit's like, go to the chocolate store. And I was like, I don't really want to go to the chocolate store. And it said it again. And I was like, all right, I better go. Got my shoes on, left, went to right next to the hotel was a chocolate store, and there was a crystal store to the side of it. And so I cut through the crystal store because, of course, it's fun crystals. And this lady almost like attacked me. She's like, there she is. And she started screaming and she started running to me. And she goes, tell these people what you said. Tell these people what you said. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. She goes, about the dead people. Oh my God, she was so funny. And so I met this guy, and he was looking at me, and he looked scared to death. And I said, I'm psychic medium. And I just was telling them, if you've lost somebody in your life, like watch for signs out here. And he's like, oh, well, what kind of signs? And you could just tell he was just crabby about it. And I said, well, you know, that little sign that someone's pulling the hair on the back of your neck. I said, that's someone that you lost. I said, did you lose a brother or a cousin? Because I felt it was male energy. And he just teared up, and he goes, how do you know that? And I was like, I'm a psychic medium. It comes to me sometimes. And he said, ever since he's died, I have had this like itch, like someone was pulling on my hair for years. And I said, yeah, it's your brother. And it was such a cool experience, because your intuition is heightened in Sedona, and everything is heightened in Sedona. And so I that's why I love doing clearings there. It's why I love taking people there. I love doing healing stuff there. I love doing all of it in Sedona. It's so fun. And so this guy was just like, who are you? Like, you need to go away. And I was like, yep, that's fine. I get it. I said, just watch that. Just know that that's your brother. So there's always ways that spirit I don't know if uses is the right word. Spirit always channels itself through things to get the message across. Okay. And so when you're out fighting against your intuition, it just makes their job really hard. And I had a reading one time. Every once in a while I get a little frustrated with people. I know that's shocking to some of you, but we were doing a reading for a group of people, and I had a woman, and she was tough. She was tough to read, and she was fighting everything that I said. And I said, I feel like your dad worked for the trains. And at the very same moment I said that, this big train came by the office that I was at and had the horn on, the whistle on, and it whistled for so long, and it was so loud because the tracks were right there. And I started laughing, and she goes, oh, are you telling me that's my dad? And I was like, oh my God, lady. I was like, you know what? I said, do you know how much work it took Spirit to get you to see that I was doing this, to get you in your car, to come here, to line up with the timing, to talk about your dad used to work for the trains and work in the train station, to have that train drive by at the very same time that the whistle went off. Like, imagine all those steps. And then she just fought it. And I was like, did my job. I don't know what else to tell you. And so I want you guys to start to think about how many steps have to happen for these cool signs to come through. And then you guys want to sign your sign, because that's what most of us do, because we like proof, right? We're human. And when you first kind of start in this, it's kind of hard to believe some of the stuff that you see, but it's for you. You're the one that believes in the signs. You don't have to convince anyone else. I have many people in my life that don't believe in the signs. Two of them are my best friends. They're not really into signs. Well, one of them is, one of them's not. And it doesn't matter because I'm into them. They're for me. And I believe in them and they talk to me and I have cool experiences. I always have cool experiences. And that is because I've affirmed it for years. And if people want to believe in them, great. And if they don't, it's not your job to convince them. That's what I learned. One of my favorite signs I ever got was my mother-in-law passed away like 10 years ago. And shortly after, I did a trip out to Idaho to see my sister-in-law and the kids, and we took the kids out there. And I kept getting this message to go to Red Lodge. And when I'd look at the map, I'm like, it's so out of my way. But I don't know, because I thought, well, maybe we're supposed to go ski there, and I'm just supposed to get familiar with the town. And all week, the whole time I was there, I kept getting go through Red Lodge, go through Red Lodge, go through Red Lodge. And I just couldn't fight it. And then the night before, I was figuring out my route and I didn't sleep. I was anxious and I was so nervous about something and I didn't know what it was about. And I don't know, I was just a bad night and I was super anxious the whole night. Got up in the morning, we're ready to go, and we go through Yellowstone, and then we go over the Beartooth Pass, which I did not realize because I was not great at maps. I didn't realize it was a mountain pass, and it's scary the first time you go over it. And now I'm fine with it. Now it's not a big deal. But I went over this Beartooth Pass, pissed at my brother-in-law and my father-in-law because neither one of them told me it was like this big ass mountain pass. And we finally get into Red Lodge, and we're starving. And so some local guy at the gas station, oh yeah, hey, go to this restaurant. It's on the right side. And my son's name is Foster, and her dog's name at the time was Logan. And so I go into Red Lodge and we park and we're walking into the restaurant and I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? Look at the name of that restaurant. And it was called Foster and Logan's. And I was like, well, you can't make that up. Like, I couldn't make that up. I would never know that restaurant is there. Like, oh my God. So I made my kid go stand under there and I sent it to the whole family. And even Harvey was like, okay, I can't even fight that one. Like, that's pretty cool. And it was so fun to have the whole experience happen because I think I was getting my nerves out at night. So when I drove it, I could be more solid. Although I was swearing, of course, I was like, holy shit. And to be able to get myself to where I needed to be. And oh my God, it was so fun. So we always go there when we go to Red Lodge. And we did end up going skiing there actually for Christmas. But signs like that show up all the time because I'm really open to them and I really enjoy them. And that's one of the things I also really learned on the Camino is I would start getting really tired and just kind of like, oh, I don't know how I can do this. And we would meet someone that was like 80 years old. And I'm like, well, shit, if they can do it, I can do it. Or we would meet the witch in the woods, or we would see a sign on the side of the road, or we would just see something that would just remind us this is a spiritual, fun journey. So let's move with it. Let's go with it. Okay. Yeah. Rainbows too. Rainbows are a big one. Priscilla does rainbows. Yep. You guys have all sorts of stuff to think about. Yeah, right, Mona? She said, I believe in the signs. I just did not think of all the steps that had to happen before you get them. Right? I don't think anyone thinks about that. I really don't. I think we just are like, hey, but you got to think about how busy we are. Like, we're always doing a bunch of shit and we're never paying attention. We're not present. We're going. And so spirit really has to get loud and obnoxious. And I do teach this, that I always ask spirit, like, if you're going to give me a sign, make it big and loud and obnoxious so I don't miss it. Those are ones I love. I do get the subtle signs too. So I had to learn more about the subtleties of it, but I love asking for big signs. One of my favorites is I had a client that she was trying to decide if she wanted to do private mentoring with me. And we had worked together and stuff. And I said, well, how about you just ask for a sign? And she said, okay. She goes, if I'm not supposed to do it, I'm going to ask to see an apple. And I was like, okay, but we know like you can't go to the grocery store to see the apple. And she's like, yep, nope, it has to show up really weird. And if she was supposed to work with me, she needed to see a banana and in a weird way. And so I was going to do a clearing for somebody, and I remember got off the phone with her, and I left my phone in the car, and I got to her house, and I'm like, you know, I got to start in your son's room. Like, we got to go down the basement. We got to start in your son's room. Walked into the door, and I busted out laughing. Like, I couldn't control myself. I was laughing so hard because she had like a 6-foot banana in his room, like a stuffed banana. So I was like, can you just wait a second? I got to go get my phone and take a picture of this and send it to my client. And we laughed so hard because there was no way I would have known that that banana was there. There's no way. And so I think when stuff like that happens, it's so hilarious to me. It's like even my client was laughing. I still remember it today. I know who the client was, all of it. It was so funny. But who has a 6-foot banana in their house? Another time, I was actually really struggling with doing this work. And if you don't manage your energy well, you'll burn out really fast. And I was kind of burning out, and I was struggling, and I was frustrated, and it was just not my best time in my business. And I remember telling Spirit, you know what? And it was July. And I was like, you know what? If you want me to keep doing this, you better send me a sign. And I want to see a fully decorated Christmas tree, because I was mad. So I was like, I'm going to test you. Now, I don't teach people to do that anymore, but you can try it. You can play with it. But I was mad. And so that afternoon, I got a call. And this lady's like, I don't know why I'm calling you, but I'm supposed to get my house cleared. I don't get what you do. I don't understand it, but can you come tomorrow? And I was like, sure, I'll come tomorrow. And I had met this lady out in the community. She was definitely not my client. She was definitely not someone that would be my client. She's definitely not in this world. And I showed up at her house, and she was looking at me. She's like, I don't understand why you're here. She goes, yeah, my basement feels kind of weird and the kids don't love it, but like, this is weird to me. And I was like, yep, I get it. I'll just go do my thing and I'll be out of your way. And she's like, okay. So I go into the kitchen, fully decorated Christmas tree. Now it was decorated for summer, but it was fully decorated. And I started laughing, and I was like, okay, got it, Spirit. Okay. Then I went up the steps, and she had a landing, fully decorated Christmas tree. I'm like, okay, totally get it. Go up to the 3rd floor, fully decorated. She had 3 fully decorated Christmas trees. And I was like, gotcha, I hear you. And I told her the story. I was like, listen, like, and her house needed some clearing, and so it wasn't like a wasted trip or anything. But I said, I got it. Thank you for letting me in your house, because this was happening. I was having a moment yesterday. I asked to see a fully decorated Christmas tree, and you have 3 of them. And her face was just like, you need to get out of my house. She was like, you are too weird for me. This is weird. You got to get out of my house. And it was funny, but she was just like, done. I'm just done. I'm done with that. I think you need to practice, Marissa. She's like, okay, why can't I get obvious signs like that? You just got to practice. You got to ask for them, and you got to practice, and you got to be open to them. And I think, like, even having that thought of like, well, why can't I get that? You're putting yourself in comparison instead of saying, oh, I'm open to that. I'm open to some big signs. I'm open to learn how to see bigger signs like that. You probably do get them. You just don't notice them. So I would just rearrange that question. Instead of why don't I get signs like that, I would say I'm open to signs like that. I'm really open to cool shit happening. Me and Nikki do this on trips, and it's so fun to do. And she plays along with me, and we just kind of play off each other. Like, we're Jody, Nikki, and cool shit happens, and we see cool signs, and like all this cool stuff happens. And we get so much magic on our trips. It's the most fun. It's the most fun. So Stacy says, I believe in signs, but only until I followed you and bought your book that I opened my eyes to them. I haven't seen any in a while, which makes me think I need to unblock or consciously open up. I need to see a sign. So I would just start asking for signs again, Stacy. Don't make it so hard on yourself. I would just say, hey, you know what, Spirit, I haven't really been present to signs. So I'm going to open up to see signs again. So show them to me. Bring them. Bring them. Let me see them. Okay. Yep. Just be really open to them. And I do ask, like, I don't ask for, I used to ask for specific signs like apple, banana, you know, whatever. And I feel like that kind of limits the experience a little bit if you're challenging it. So instead, I just say, hey, Spirit, you know what? Show me that you're with me today. I do that one a lot. In the morning, I'll be like, you know what? Show me that you're with me today. Or show me some big obnoxious signs today. I keep it very open and very simple. I don't often ask for specifics anymore because I like to see what they create. Like, show me some cool shit. Like on the Camino, all I asked for was magic. My intention was that it was a magical journey for me. And it was, like, in every way, shape, or form it was. And so it takes practice. So you guys just got to open up to the practice of it and just say, hey, I just need some signs and I need them big and obnoxious so I don't lose them. And then when you actually see something where it makes you say, I wonder if that's a sign, stop. Don't wonder. Just take it as a sign. Because a lot of people argue that it's not a sign and it's just coincidence. Or you argue about the sign that you asked for. She's not on. I was hoping she would pop on today, but one of my clients and friends, she was asking if she should come to my fall retreat. And she was asking for, I think it's a blue elephant. That woman must have saw 738 elephants between the day she asked and the day of the retreat. And it would be like an elephant standing in front of a person with a blue shirt on. Blue elephant. And she would argue with it. She's like, nope, it's not a blue elephant. Nope, it's not a blue elephant. And the joke, like, one of the resistance was like, she just knew she had some stuff to feel and she didn't really want to feel it. And she knew she'd have to feel it at the retreat. And so every elephant and like, I went to Walmart right before the retreat and there was a row of like 50 elephants. And I sent it to her and I'm like, seriously, like, come on. She's like, nope, there's not a blue elephant. And I'm like, oh my God, stop it. It was, and we still laugh about it today because it was so funny. And so if you're going to argue every sign, like, it's going to be harder to recognize the fun of it because you're going to argue against the little tiny details. Okay. Ah, that's good, Marissa. Yep. All right. Any questions on how you get signs from Spirit? Basically, there's a million ways you can get signs from Spirit, you guys. Millions. We get them all day long. You just have to be open to them and practice seeing them. So I practice every day. Sometimes I'm the one giving the sign to somebody. Like we had some really fun things on the Camino where it was we all had euros and it was so easy and it was so cheap just to buy people coffee and stuff like that. And so there was several times in little spots that someone would be behind me and I'm like, yeah, let me just get theirs too. And they were like, oh my God, like, I was looking for kind people today, or, you know, so generous. Like, I'm opening up to that. Like, it was really fun. So sometimes you're the sign. Sometimes I'll get a hit to post something online like, hey, if you're looking for a sign, here's your sign. And someone's like, oh my God, I was just asking for that. So sometimes you can be the deliverer, which I think is really fun, of the sign. So don't forget that part too. Okay. Because I think that's fun. All right. Any other questions, friends? So I will let you know about if I'm going live on Friday. I had a little schedule thing that I need to just work that out, and then I'll let you know. If I don't come on live, I will have something cool for you guys to watch on Friday. One of the two. I'll have something for you Friday. I'm not going to be on live tomorrow, but we do have our full moon group clearing tomorrow night at 7. If you are interested, you can see it on my website too. Spirit School is still open and Word of the Year is out. So definitely get those ordered if you want one because they do sell out. And if you have any questions on Sedona and you're interested in going with, please let me know ASAP so I can get my reservations made and all that good stuff. Okay. All right, friends, have a good day. And I will see you most likely on Friday. And if I don't, I will have something fun for you. Okay. Bye, guys. See ya.